hope that it's one of your favorites. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford. Joe Stafford.
Matthews goes up again and makes a huge catch.
Oh, look at Chris Mann. Hey, MVP.
What my dog Stafford looking like out there, man?
Stafford, he definitely got a swag about him.
Downfield as Matthews reaches out, makes the catch. Oh, reach up caught. It is Matthews for a touchdown. Chris Matthews. We're watching a star be born.
That guy right now is your MVP.
What up, Joe? It's Wooly McGinnis, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, and I know about the Stafford and Matthews podcast and how hard you grind and work, and you're seeing the fruits of your labor.
And welcome back to Stafford and Matthews, episode 35, season 2, episode 3 officially. As always, your hosts, Joe Stafford, Chris Matthews, former Seahawk and Raven. We're back on the grind. Intern Kev is slacking on us, actually doing real work that pays him. What a loser. And we're back in the stew a little bit, or our version of a studio anyway. Chris, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a slow week for me. Classes are going well. Yeah, if you guys don't know, if you guys listen to the show for the first time, I am a full-time student. I'm a senior at St. Anselm College up in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's going real well. About to graduate. Yeah, spring semester coming up. I graduate in May. Chris said on video that he would come to the graduation. That should be a fun weekend. That would be a really fun weekend, actually. A little dangerous, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk about some football here because we had a pretty exciting week. Capped off by a very not exciting game of Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm not going to lie to you. Jalen Hurts looked horrible, and he took credit for it. Like, he took credit for it after the game. He said, it wasn't play calling, it was me, I just had a bad game. Props to that kid, because it's not easy, especially on a team like the Eagles, to take credit for a team collapsing. Because regardless of how many points you put on the board, you're going to lose the game 9 times out of 10 if the other team scores over 40 points, which the Dallas Cowboys did. So that's the reality situation, but I applaud Jalen Hurts for taking responsibility of that. On the flip side, I want to root for this kid so hard, but he's making it very, very difficult. Like, he really is making it difficult.
Just do it.
I can ride and die with a kid, but then I look like an idiot if he doesn't do well.
You don't care about what you say on here? You might as well just ride with it.
Chris is like, I look like an idiot all the time. I don't care. Just go for it. Just go for it. No, but no, you're right, though. I do want to ride and die by the kid. I really do. And I just don't know if Philly even wants him there. We talked about that in the summer, how they seemed very adamant that they weren't committing to the guy, or at least they seemed like on the outside.
Yeah.
And this game definitely doesn't help that cause. But I really do they stick in there with Hurts. I don't think they have another option anyway. Like, there's no one behind it that's really going to make a charge for that starting spot anyway. But, yeah, Jalen Hurts looked poor. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, looked phenomenal. And I want to hear your thoughts on the Cowboys' offense, including that three-headed dragon with Dak, CD, and Amari in the passing game.
Well, to be honest with you, I think they suck. I think this is because they're in a bad division where their competition isn't up there. It's like a back in the day, let's say SC when it was back in the Pac-10, and they were just so much better than everybody else when they played against other teams. I guess that's a bad one. At the end of the day, they're a bad. I mean, it's an average team, and I'm talking about the Cowboys playing against a bad division. So anytime they playing against anybody in their division, they look like they're all world. They're scoring all these points, but which when you're looking at them, you see that they're still committing bad penalties. They're getting sacked in the end zone, giving up plays. It looks like bad football, and they're playing down to the level, and they kind of like trying to wake up and get it going before it gets too late and they start playing against some of these other teams out here. But don't get me wrong, a win is a win, and I'm going to give it to them because they deserve that. They played some good defense against a bad offensive line, honestly, and they capitalized on it. So why not give them props for that?
Yeah, fair enough. That's actually not a bad point. But I think you're kind of underrating Dak and the boys a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm not a huge Cowboys defender because I was an advocate early on in the process to not pay Dak that much money. And retroactively, I am sort of still of that opinion. I think he's a little bit overpaid, but it is the market, so I do understand why that money was shelled out. Similar to like one of my guys like Kirk Cousins being overpaid. We'll talk about Kirk a little bit later because I'm sure you have some words for me after his performance in Seattle. But I think being a little bit harsh on Dak, I'm not the biggest Dak fan of all time, but the offense right now is doing phenomenal. I mean, CD looks like he's taking that next step that most sophomores need to take to be successful. Amari Cooper is one of the most criminally underrated players, period. Not even receivers, just players in the NFL, period.
When he's at home.
When he's at home, but still, he's a phenomenal talent regardless.
Right.
And I think it's even more impressive what Dak's doing right now, especially because of how just horrendous the run game is outside of Tony Pollard. Yes, I'm looking straight at you, Ezekiel Elliott. You bum. You absolute bum. I don't know how.
His last game.
I'm just saying, I don't know how you go from being the lead dog, the big dog, being a top 3 running back, arguably the best running back in the league for 3 years. That's your team. The Dallas Cowboys was a Zeke-led team. Dak comes in for an injured Tony Romo and basically makes Zeke forget how to play football 2 years in.
Yeah.
It surprised me. And I make this comparison a lot last year. I make it again this year. Miles Sanders is playing better than Ezekiel Elliott is. He played better than him last year. He's playing better than him so far this year. I just don't know how long the Cowboys can sit here and really register the fact that they're paying Zeke this much money to be not that big a part of an offense anymore. Like, not being the central focal point of the offense, paying a running back that much money is an issue. So I wonder rather how long does that take them to actually figure out what they need to do with Zeke? And the answer for me is to trade him, and if you can't find a trade partner, to cut him next offseason.
Well, I can see the trade, but cutting somebody after you done paid them so much money and they still have time on their contract, I don't see that that's a likely thing to happen. I mean, unless he goes out for the rest of this year and he's just completely whiffs and he doesn't produce to at least an average standard, I can see him being cut then. But if he's still doing what he's doing and he's being average and he's still at the top of the class of the running back position, I don't see that happening. It would just be Tony Pollard would probably take on more of the load than Ezekiel Elliott would, and he'll start coming off the bench. I mean, honestly, but if you look at it though, like sometimes, like this past game, some of the runs that Ezekiel Elliott, which he did have some good runs, which surprised me honestly, where he was getting 8-9 yards a carry. And now, I mean, but when you see him and he's going into contact, you can see that it's a stalemate. It's a stalemate unless somebody's behind him, pushing him back. When you see Tony Pollard running, Tony Pollard is literally running through people. Now, I did see one where Ezekiel Elliott, he did run somebody over through in the hole to the right side of the field on like the 30-yard line. But that was it. You know, Tony Pollard was doing that the whole game. So I could definitely see that going on for a future of, the running back position in Dallas where Tony Pollard is the man.
So the reason I say the cut as opposed, well, I'm assuming if they're trying to trade him, they're going to find a trade partner to take on that contract. So that's where the cut part comes in, and not even about the money. We'll talk about a different thing. Ego and personality. Cam Newton was cut not because he couldn't be a great backup, which he could be, or even a serviceable starter, depending on your point of view on the guy. He was cut, and he made the point because of his personality and who he was. He was Cam Newton. And so I think Tony Pollard coming in already under Zeke's shadow to start his career, and now to start kind of taking the reins away, but the focus will still be, no matter what in that backfield, on Ezekiel Elliott, just because of the name alone. And so that's where it's a Cowboys business decision to whether or not say, hey, do we want to keep the marketability of Zeke here? Do we want to put the focus on Tony Pollard? We need to figure out who the lead guy is in that backfield and who is the most marketable and make a decision based on that. You can market Zeke till the cows come home. You can market a lot of these guys that aren't necessarily at the top of their game still till the cows come home. But it's about winning for me. So if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and I'm worried about the distraction that Zeke brings if he's not, Ezekiel Elliott anymore per se in terms of play, then I start to have that internal discussion whether or not I want to have him on my team anymore.
Well, see, here's my thing about the Cam and Ezekiel Elliott personality and things like that. the one thing that you fail to expose to the masses, Joe, is that New England is not Dallas. Like Dallas can care less about any outside work that you're doing, if it's in media or anything else that you're doing out there. They don't care. The more that you do, the happier they are to put that on their team and show that how great the Dallas Cowboys are, that they're doing this and they're doing that and they're so big. You could go back to the 80s or when they were just out there just partying. They were the life of the party, and they had cameras follow them around and record them partying and having a great time. So just that fact alone, I don't think that would be enough for Ezekiel Elliott to get actually flat out get cut. But I hear what you're saying. You know, you have to find a trade partner who's going to be willing to take it, and they're probably going to dump him off after that. It makes sense, but just straight flat out cutting, I don't think that would be it, and I don't think it would be because of his ego. And the same for that. I mean, the same for Cam. Like if Cam was to ever get to Dallas, that would probably be a great fit for him.
No, point taken. But I think we're probably at a stalemate at this point. Yeah, we gotta go to something else. And unfortunately, this particular character is becoming a facet of this show, and I really hate the fact he's a focal point now. And that player is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So last week we had a conversation about how Kirk is average. That was my point of view. You basically refuted that and said he's a good quarterback. We had a whole conversation about rings, playoff contention, regular season accolades, etc. And keep in mind, the Vikings were 0-2 at the time. Mm-hmm. They went to Seattle, or they just beat Seattle outright. I think the final score was like 30-17, something like that. And Kirk played well. 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, 300 yards or almost 300 yards. Like he played very, very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
My point has not gone away. Average players can play over their heads. Average players can play phenomenally at times. Average players can exceed expectations. That happens all the time in sports. That's how unexpected heroes come out. That's what happened to you in the Super Bowl. Was anyone expecting you to have a phenomenal Calvin Johnson-like game?
Oh, you calling me average, man?
No, time out. I didn't say that. Was anyone expecting you to have a Calvin Johnson performance in Super Bowl?
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
No one's expecting that, right? And so when Kirk Cousins comes out and throws 3 touchdowns against Seattle and pretty much beats them down, and it was more than a 2-score game, that surprised me. And that's him, I think, playing over his pay grade. Or actually under his pay grade, considering how much he's making, $33 fucking million a year.
Yeah.
But the point still stands. Average players can have exceptional games. That is really what it is. Kirk Cousins is not a great quarterback. Kirk Cousins it might not even be a good quarterback. Kirk Cousins is an average talent playing with a great running back, playing with great receivers, and just doing the most he can with that. And that's fine. He can have good games. But to me, in my heart, in my mind, I know for a fact that Kirk Cousins is average, is going to end up going close to 500, because you can't have 500 anymore, which is the reason I hate Week 17, because you can't have an even record anymore, and that pisses me off. But he's going to go close to 500, either a little bit over, a little bit under. He's going to either barely make the playoffs or make the playoffs at all. If he does make the playoffs, he's going to lose before a divisional round. That's the blueprint of what Kirk Cousins has set out, and that's what's going to continue to happen because that's who Kirk Cousins is. He's a career overachiever that's really a loser at heart.
Okay. I mean, I understand why you don't like the being able to go 500 in the season no more because of how bad your Patriots look, and they're looking like they're.
Hey, we'll get to your Niners in a second.
Get down to have a low season game. I mean, low season year.
We'll get to your Niners in a second.
Nonetheless, Joe, he was making throws. It wasn't like he was just handing the ball off.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Every 2 minutes because he barely had him. He had, what is his name? Alexander Madison, he's actually a really good running back, might I add. they don't give him enough props, but I think that's only because you have Dalvin Cook, who's so great. But nonetheless, he was making plays with his arm, and he was making checks on the line. Seattle is known for their defense. No matter who's the defensive coordinator or what if they have Sherm or the Legion of Boom or whoever, when you go into Seattle, you know that you're going up against a top tier defense. He went out there in his home field and tore them apart. No matter what the situation was, when the defense was looking a little bit lackluster and they was just letting Rush just throw the ball throw the ball to DK Metcalf, and they run around and all of that and scoring and stuff like that. And he still came out there and kept his poise and went out there and did what he was supposed to do. Did he make it look great? No, he didn't make it look great. He had some blunders here and there, but nonetheless, he still got the job done. And then it begs me to ask you this, Joe. Before Deshaun Watson had his problems, he was going out there playing. Is he considered great? Was he considered great? Because he wasn't winning.
History. So we had this conversation last time, right? And sometimes you do have situations like we talked about. It's all about being put into the right situation like we talked about rookies being put in the right situation to succeed, right? Any player with talent could succeed in the right situation, and sometimes it doesn't work out for them, right? And so Deshaun Watson's a great example of that. Deshaun Watson, obviously the Texans aren't a very talented roster by any stretch, right? He's still been in the playoffs the same amount of time as Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think maybe one last time, but he basically has gone twice. He has a playoff win with I think a significantly less talented roster than Kirk has ever had. That includes his Washington football days. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone's standing on a table saying Kirk Cousins has more talent than Deshaun Watson.
No.
So I think it's a little bit of a different comparison.
But is he good though? Is
Deshaun Watson good? Deshaun Watson is very good. Yes.
Deshaun Watson should be average.
Deshaun Watson's very, very talented. He's very, very talented.
Very talented, but he's average though, like by your standards. That's all I'm trying to get out right now, because Kirk Cousins is doing everything that you asked for him. He just doesn't have the wins.
Well, that's what I'm asking of him, isn't it?
I think this is going to be the year where it's going to change.
Okay, realistically, in the division with the Packers, what is he going to do? Wild card?
What do you mean? What is he going to do? They're going to hold him. If Cook is healthy and they play against the Green Bay Packers, I see that game going completely different.
Okay, Chris, you got to answer the question. They're in the same division as the Packers. Are they the wild card team of that division, or are they the division champions of that division?
The wild card.
Okay. First, second, third.
You can't go from wild card to number one.
No, I know. First, second, or third wild card. Ballpark me in the NFC.
I would say second.
Okay, so they're basically one team away from not being in the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay, how far do you think they'd realistically get? Healthy Dalvin Cook, the whole nine. They're a healthy squad.
I would say they can make it all the honestly. They would just have to stay healthy.
You're asinine. You're off your rocker.
Their defense is, bar none, one of the best. What do you mean?
You're off your rocker. You're crazy. You are nuts. You are nuts. They're not making it past the divisional round.
Now, we didn't have this up on the docket, but if we're going to talk about Green Bay, we could talk about the Green Bay in this past game that they had.
Oh, no, we'll talk about that. We will get to that. Believe me.
Oh, okay, because let's be real here. The defense isn't that great, and their run game isn't that great either. So now you're talking about a team like the Vikings who have a great run defense. How are they going to get things going? And they also have great they have great DBs out there.
So Chris, this is funny.
Pat Pete.
And no, Chris, this is funny now, because now you're basically working your argument into my wheelhouse, because I've said it multiple times, right? And actually, you have nothing to say but support this argument once I'm done with it, because of how you feel about Aaron Rodgers. Great quarterbacks will their team to win. That's what you saw in Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. That's what you'll continue to see with him through the playoffs. And that's exactly the reason why, if the Packers and the Vikings face off in a highly contested regular season game, or, God forbid, a playoff game, Aaron Rodgers is going to make sure that he buries the Vikings. And you know in your heart of hearts that is 100% a certainty.
He might, but I'm saying that Kirk Cousins might as well. It's not as lopsided as you say it would be.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Game Green Bay versus the Vikings. I'm not sitting at there and we're making our picks. I'm not saying, oh yeah, easily Green Bay. No, I'm gonna have to sit back and think about it, just like everybody else is gonna sit back and think about it.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me.
Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the defense. I'm telling you, the defense. I don't even understand why I'm even an offensive player. Like, I love defense so much, and I'm looking at a clear cut and dry Vikings defense, Green Bay's defense. Who's better? Exactly. I don't even want you to answer it. For you to
I'll go with the Vikings. I'll go with the Vikings. Well, so the reason I have a qualm about it is because you have Jair Alexander on one side, who's one of the best shutdown corners in football.
Yes.
The only thing the Packers are really missing is that edge rush, and I think it will come as the season progresses. You have a great, obviously, interior D-line.
Darius Smith isn't out there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So there's pieces coming together. So I think it's harsh and kind of a little rush job to automatically write out the Packers as being like a defenseless team. Like they have time to progress. It's week 2.
Even
it's
with those players out there, they still have lackluster games. So
I would say lackluster, yeah. But are they completely helpless? No. And they have Aaron fucking Rodgers. So that's where I put them on a different level than the Minnesota Vikings. But I have a fraud alert. We need like an alarm. We need like an alarm on this show. Like I want like a bell to go off. Like fraud alert. Besides Kirk Cousins, the fraud alert for what? Episode 3 of the second season for Stafford and Matthews. I'm slamming the table. The Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are officially frauds, and it's only week 3. And you knew, or I think a lot of the audience that if they listen to our social media stuff would know that I've been on this train for a couple weeks now. They're frauds. Kyler Murray, phenomenal talent. One of the best athletes we have in our game right now. Absolutely. He's doing things that a lot of players aren't even capable of doing. He's capable of unbelievable jaw-dropping athletic ability, playmaking ability, and just flat out can play football. He can. It's not going to translate to anything significant. We're basically watching, and this I want to be clear here, we're basically watching a repeat of Mike Vick's success in the NFL. We're watching highlights. We're watching flashy plays. We're watching scrambling outside the pocket. We're watching crazy athletic throws downfield. And you know where it got Mike Vick? Do you know?
I don't even want to hear it, Joe.
He didn't get past the conference championship. He didn't get past the conference championship. He didn't even get to a conference championship. That's where it got him. And that's exactly where it's going to lead Kyler Murray if they even make the playoffs. And yeah, I'm saying that about a 3-0 team. That's what or a 2-0 team. Or it's a 2-0 or 3-0. Whatever week it is, that's what I'm saying.
I am with you with the Kyler Murray that is fall. I mean, it's not going to work. I'm not going to say fall off because that's a harsh word. You know, fall off means he's completely done.
Hey, check week 8 of last year and then see what happened after that.
But to even bring breath to your lungs, to even fix your mouth to say anything close to Michael Vick is asinine with Kyler Murray. It's not even close. It's not even comparable.
Want to say something worse? Lamar Jackson's better than Mike Vick.
Go ahead, man. Finish the show, man. Finish the show. Finish the show.
No, he is. No, Lamar Jackson's better than Mike Vick.
Oh, my God.
Lamar Jackson's better than Mike Vick. Yep, he is. Lamar Jackson's better than Mike Vick. Already.
How?
Numbers, wins, trajectory.
Trajectory. That's something that you can count on, huh?
If the shoe fits, yeah.
So it should have fit for Vince Young and what was the guy from the Raiders the guy from the Raiders?
Jamarcus Russell.
Right, first round pick. Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Lamar Jackson's an MVP already.
Don't do that just because these guys are doing good right now. Right now does not make them better than somebody who's had a whole career of doing it.
Yeah, Chris, you can't. You cannot bring in Jamarcus Russell and Vince Young. Lamar Jackson won an MVP at 22 years old. Vince Young never had a season with more touchdowns than picks.
You said trajectory.
That's MVP trajectory. Vince Young didn't sniff that. Jamarcus Russell didn't sniff that.
That shouldn't be anywhere in your conversation when you're talking about who's better. Because everybody has a huge trajectory. Somebody come in who's young, who's fast, who's strong, who can throw the ball good. Like, that don't mean nothing. Like, you can't do that when you're talking about somebody who only been playing for 4 years compared to somebody who's done did it for their whole career.
Okay, let me ask you a question about Mike Vick then. And this is completely off topic. Like, we went from Kyler Murray to Mike Vick to Lamar Jackson to expectations. But let me ask you a question. What are your actual thoughts about Mike Vick as a successful quarterback, not as an athlete playing football? Was Mike Vick a successful player in the NFL?
Yes. Did you not watch the Eagles? How he was slaying that ball around and they was playing with people and throwing the ball on a rope.
Oh yeah, so let me talk to you about this then. The Eagles, right? He played for them for 5 seasons. These are his records with the Philadelphia Eagles as a starting quarterback: 8-3, 7-6, 3-7, 2-4. His records with the Falcons: 1-1, 8-6-1, 3-1, 11-4, 8-7, 7-9.
Okay, and so what are you saying?
I'm saying that he wasn't a successful NFL quarterback. He was a phenomenal talent and athlete full of highlight reel plays that shocked everyone and completely changed how football was played. But was he a successful quarterback? The answer is no.
You can't do it by yourself. Majority of those years that you named, he was by himself, except for those last 2 or 3 years with the Eagles, when he actually had Deshaun Watson,
Deshaun Jackson,
my boy, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Jeremy Maclin, Brent Selleck, LaShawn McCoy, like
come on, man. Come on now. And let's talk about the numbers that he put up. Don't tell me the wins and the losses. Tell me
the numbers. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it then. In 2010, 2009, 2013, those are the Eagles. First season doesn't count because he threw for 86 yards. He wasn't starting. First starting season, 3,000 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 6 picks. Second season, 3,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 14 picks. Third season, 2,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 picks. Third season, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. And that was his entire tenure. Over his career in Philadelphia, he had about 9,000 yards or 10,000 yards passing, 57 touchdowns, and 33 picks. His best record was 8-3.
Which by the standards on paper, if you're just looking at things on paper, you would think that was just an average quarterback. But if you was there to actually watch these games and to watch this dude
that, and that's why
his back foot rolling out to the opposite side of his throwing arm to throw 80-yard bombs,
Chris,
it was unbelievable. And let's also be real here. When he did have those guys, were they the most reliable when it came to injuries? No, they weren't.
Nope.
So what do you can't sit up there and tell me that a guy wasn't able to he wasn't a great quarterback when he didn't have much around him.
Chris, I preface this
all the way back to Kirk Cousins of what type of player he is in what he's been dealing with his whole career. Every year that he's been there with the Vikings, Dalvin Cook has been hurt, which is their main focus on their offense.
I preface this entire thing praising Mike Vick, saying he was one of the best athletes to ever play football. He was full of highlight reels, and I agree with you. But because he didn't win, because his teams continually failed when it mattered most, He's not an NFL successful quarterback.
So that means Brett Favre isn't good either then, right?
Oh my God. Brett Favre won 3 straight MVPs in a Super Bowl. Mike Vick went to 4 Pro Bowls.
No, you are unbelievable, man. You are unbelievable. What are the wins? Like you keep bringing
1996,
up
Brett Favre beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl.
And that was one Super Bowl, right? What were the rest of the wins? What were the winning records? I mean, the winning records
For Brett Favre?
Yeah.
All right, bet. 1 sec. Brett Favre's records throughout the years. Ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready to listen to this.
All right, we'll start with this first MVP season. So in 1995.
No. You start from beginning to end.
We didn't do that with Michael Vick. We started his first actual season in Philadelphia.
Right. Go ahead, man.
1995. 11-5, 13-3, 13-3, 11-5. That's his first 5 years as a starter. Notice the difference in numbers?
Phenomenal.
Right, that's a big difference in records, right?
Phenomenal.
Right? Okay, 1999-2000, down years, 8-8, 9-7. Then right back on that horse, 12-4, 12-4, 10-6, 10-6. This guy was a walking double-digit player for wins. That's the difference.
I am not going against that. I think Brett Favre is amazing too, but we can't sit here and say that he didn't have down years. That
he did, but Mike Vick never had great years.
And when it was down, it was down. It wasn't he can somehow manage to bring this team out. These guys, Michael Vick literally, even though he had bad career, a bad winning percentage, he was still willing his team into those games. We're not saying that you can't say that every one of those games throughout his career he was getting blown out. That was never happening.
I agree with you. He
was in there willing his team to get him there. It was just the fact that his team kept breaking down physically.
Right.
Which is the same thing with Kirk Cousins.
Mike Vick had one season his entire career over in double-digit wins. One season.
I hear you.
He played
hard. You're not.
He played 13 years.
1 against 11. It's not 1 against 11. It's supposed to be 11 on 11.
Oh, God. I want to have a fan on here just to see what they think about this, because we've been at each other's jaws about this quarterback thing lately.
Bring him up.
We've been at some jaws with this the past couple weeks.
Let's pick in our Instagram. Said whoever we see on there the most on our Instagram the most, we just go on there and we tally it up and we pick that fan and we ask them if they want to join the show.
Okay, we'll see. Back to the Cardinals thing. Yeah, I'm pressing the fraud button. I'm 100% pressing the fraud button. We saw it happen last year. The Jags made it a game against them, which they had no business even being in contention for that game. That was the most embarrassing part about the whole thing. So I'm slapping the fraud button. The Cardinals are frauds. Week 3, I'm saying it right now.
I'm not going to say that the Cardinals are the frauds, and honestly, I'm not going to say that Kyler Murray is a fraud, but I do think there's going to be a decline with Kyler Murray and not the team. It's just too many parts that are on the Cardinals team that I don't even think would allow that to happen. You have J.J. Watt, you have D-Hop, you have A.J. Green, who is a proven Pro Bowler in the NFL as a wide receiver. You got Chandler Jones. Or is that his name? Am I saying that right?
What?
Chandler Jones? Is that his name, Chandler Jones? Or
yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. Boom. Chandler Jones and a plethora of other people that's out there who I believe that it's not going to allow this team just to be a complete joke. I think it will have to come down to they're going to be in a lot of tough fights this year, especially in their division.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we got to get to this at some point. I guess this is the best time as any. The Patriots played on Sunday. They did well. They did what most people consider as playing, and it was just a nightmare from the word go. It was not a fun thing to watch, especially having money on that game. It was not a fun thing to watch. Mac Jones officially had his welcome to the NFL moment. He had his baptism moment because the Saints baptized him. He got hit play after play. He got sacked consistently. He was under duress the entire time. His weapons did nothing for him. Jonnu Smith basically should be cut off the roster after last game of how poorly he played. That's an exaggeration. Actually, I'm saying cut him, but he played horrifically. And Jameis Winston somehow pulled his W out of his ass. I mean, he loves eating those W's, but he shit this one out because this was not a game won by Jameis Winston. This was a game won by that Saints defense with an incompetent Patriots offense.
Jameis Winston so many picks, I believe.
He did it, and that was a really surprising fact. I'm actually kind of proud of Jameis Winston retroactively. I am kind of proud of him. I think that LASIK worked for him. But I think I want to talk about the reason why the Patriots offense didn't work. And you're going to hate me for saying this. It's like, oh, it's because Max sucks. No, it's not because Max sucks. I think the game plan radically changed from Josh McDaniels, and I don't think it was beneficial for the team. The first two game plans starting out for the Jets and for the Dolphins was run the ball with Damian Harris twice, set up play action or a quick throw for Mac Jones on third down if it gets to third down, and consistently just keep running the ball, set the play action up, and basically run the offense like that. Mm-hmm. This game was a lot different. Damian Harris had the first play of the game. Harris had a 7-yard run, and we're like, okay, perfect, great start. Keep the ball moving, right?
Right.
Sorry if you hear the microwave here, but Jimmy's making. You would think, right? And then right after that, what happens? They start throwing Mac all over the yard. And a lot of people would be excited to see that, right? I'm not. Because when you have a formula that you know works, you stick to that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Mac Jones threw over 50 passes on Sunday.
50
that is 50. Well, that's what over 50 means, Chris. Fuck. But yeah, the game plan should not have been that from the get-go. The plan should have been run the ball with Damian Harris because he's a madman. He's a walking 80 yards and a touchdown player now. He's a borderline top 10 running back now. I firmly believe that. Give the rock to him. Instead, you had Brandon Bolden taking 10 to 15 snaps a game at running back when you needed Damian Harris in there the most in the third and fourth quarter. And you had Mac Jones throwing the ball over the yard, ended up having 3 picks, 2 of which weren't his fault. The first one, his fault. Last one, it was a Hail Mary. You're down what? 18 points. Throw the ball up, see what happens. It's a pick. No one's going to count that against you. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was obviously Jonnu Smith literally catching the ball, then tossing it to Malcolm Jenkins for a pick 6. Right. It was a Christmas present for Malcolm Jenkins.
Right.
So I think the 3 picks is a little bit overrated. I don't think that's all attributed to Mac Jones himself. I don't think that's all directly his fault if you actually watch the tape. But yeah, bad game, bad play calling. You need to just move on. Like the worst thing you could possibly do as a Patriots player or fan is to dwell on this game. You need to just move on. And we're gonna dwell on it probably, yeah, because you love torturing me. But yeah. All right, Chris, giving you the floor. Do your worst.
30 for 51.
Yep.
30 for 51.
Mm-hmm.
By your standards, that is what? Atrocious. That's the word that you like to use a lot. Atrocious.
Yeah. It was not good. No. 3
interceptions, 1 touchdown.
Yep.
When your guy over here, Jameis Winston, was throwing touchdowns on his back foot, falling down.
Yeah, that should be a pick. That is no business being a touchdown. No business at all.
Obviously, the defense ain't doing good enough.
That was the most misplaced. That was the most misplaced, misplayed ball I've ever seen in my life. You're telling me Jameis Winston falling down just throws the ball up and it somehow becomes a touchdown? Like, that is a horrific defensive play right there.
It would be different if it was like in the middle of the field somewhere, but it was in the back of the end zone. So all he had to do was throw it up and get it at least towards the back of the end zone. So if it does drop, if somebody does drop it or it slides through somebody's hand, it goes to the back of the end zone. So I can understand why he would throw a ball like that. But the defense, I don't know what they were doing out there. When I was looking at Matthew Judon, laying quarterbacks out in Miami. Defenses was out there swarm tackling, taking picks all over the place. I'm trying to figure out where was this happening this week. Like they just are they scared of the win eater, the W eater? Are they scared of him? Because he didn't even look that great. He threw for 127 yards. Like that's the crazy thing about the whole game is he only threw for 127 yards. Now he went 13 for 21, which ain't that bad. But when you have a quarterback in Jameis Winston's column, I would if it was me, a defensive coordinator, I would be licking my chops. I know I would at least have 3 interceptions like your boy Mac Jones had.
That's what I was thinking.
At least 3 interceptions, and we can at least take one of them back. But they didn't get any of that. They just let them. They allowed them to go down the field and throw the ball. They allowed Alvin Kamara to run the ball and catch the ball at will whenever he wanted to. It just looked bad all the way around. I don't know what you guys was doing. And then you got Marquez Callaway? Is that his name? Callaway? This dude, you allow this dude out here mossing people, catching balls off the back of his helmet, man, toe tapping. And I'm like, bro, who is this guy? I look up, he only has 4 receptions, 41 yards and a touchdown. His longest was a 13-yarder, and you allowed that guy to make you guys look bad. That was the leading receivers for New Orleans. I just want you to understand that.
I'll take my whipping. I'll take my whipping. I will take it. There's nothing I can defend. I can only explain away some stuff.
And it gets worse for you.
Does it get worse for you?
No. It gets worse for you guys. Who do you guys
I think it gets worse for you though.
You guys play against your boy, the man who brought you guys all those Super Bowls last year. Those past couple of years. Like this guy who put Boston on the map when the basketball team wasn't doing well, when the when the baseball team wasn't doing well. Like he was the guy literally made you guys royalty out there, and he's gonna come in there and look like royalty again. And he's probably gonna stay in the same house that you showed me going down the block where it was a small little 2-bedroom. He's like, man, I want to live back in the day. He's probably gonna go back there for this week and practice on you guys' field, change everything up. Tom Brady's gonna be all plaster all over the wall. You know how good that feels when you got your picture on the Jumbotron and they praising you and you on the other team, and you like, damn, man, they still love me out here. Like that's what's gonna happen, and then it's gonna be another one of those 28 to maybe 7, because it's not like Tampa Bay's defense is bad. Tampa Bay's defense is top 5. So
referencing what Chris just said, if you guys didn't know, when Chris flew out here from LA, I took him by Marina Bay, which is in Quincy, where Tom Brady and Ben Watson used to be neighbors. Marina Bay Village is a nice little community in the Quincy area near Squantum. Check it out if you guys are in the area. Beautiful, and a great, unbelievable restaurants on that marina there too. But yeah, Brady coming back to Gillette is going to be a very, very interesting experience for me, and I don't know how to feel about it yet. I'm still kind of challenging those conceptions in my head and trying to figure out what stance I want to take. Based on what I know about myself, is I'm going to get probably emotional when it comes out of the tunnel, when he starts doing the pregame, when I see his pregame. I'm dead serious. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm dead serious. When it was his pregame, not speech, when he gets honored pregame, I'm probably will get emotional. But huh?
What are you gonna feel like when Matthew Judon gets a hold of him?
So I'm getting to that. So basically, when Brady steps forward in that field for the first time, I will cheer like everybody else will. And if you boo, you're a loser. But as soon as that game starts, and as soon as he goes between those white lines, I want to see his head get ripped off. I'm telling you right now, I want to see his head get ripped off. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Because if you are a Patriots fan until Brady leaves, and then you're a Brady fan, you're also a loser. You need to ride with your region, ride with your team, and ride with the area. And if you're supporting Brady over the Patriots this weekend, I want to let you know that I have zero respect for you, and you're a loser. That's what I have to say about it.
So it's going to be
It's gonna be a lot.
Emotional game for you. And
yeah,
for one, I'm probably going to FaceTime you at least 5 or 6 times because that's how many times he's probably going to score on you guys. Every time Tom Brady scores on you guys, I'm going to FaceTime you so I can see your face.
After on the third call, by the time he scores for the third time, I'm going to set my camera up on Zoom and just have my ass waiting for you to open the camera with. At that point.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to watch this game.
I'll give you a blue moon if you know what I mean. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure. Before we do our game picks, we can talk about a couple more things. And we'll do it quick, but we can talk about a couple more things. How was Sunday night for you, Chris?
It was a tough one.
It was a tough. Well, but why was Sunday tough? Like, did you just have like a long day, or like did you have to like go a lot shopping, or what happened on Sunday night?
I didn't get my beignets in the morning where what I usually do. You know what I'm saying? I get a beignet, I get a couple beignets, and I'll get some coffee, and I'll come home and chill and relax and watch football. But I didn't get those, so it was already a rough start from that point on. And I just,
Chris,
it's like one of those superstition type of things where you like, things just ain't going right.
Chris, your life is so hard. Like, it really is. I feel so badly for you. You mean, like, you're a millionaire, former NFL player, and you didn't get your beignets. Like, this world is so unfair.
It was tough, man. I'm telling you. And then, and then you want to, what really capped it off for me, man?
What capped it off for you?
In the house. I didn't have no orange juice in the house, nowhere. I like, everybody in my house know I like orange juice. And man, I have no orange juice in my house. So that really like topped it off for me there. And I'm like, you know what? Anything else happen after this? It's just whatever.
Let me ask you a question. Did the San Francisco 49ers play a football game on Sunday night?
I mean, yeah,
They did? Okay, cool. And let me make sure I'm not mistaken here. Did they play the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, and we almost won.
What happened?
We didn't hold the ball. That's what it was. We didn't hold the ball.
Oh, you didn't hold the ball. So
we
then
hang on to the ball for a little bit longer.
So you left 37 seconds on the clock for Aaron Rodgers, and but then I just stopped watching. Like, what happened?
I don't know. I stopped watching.
I'm baiting you this whole time. Chris, Aaron Rodgers bent you over and showed you the 50 states. That's what he did. He did a classic Aaron Rodgers primetime comeback, game-winning field goal. It was reminiscent of 1,000 times before, but it made it that much more special because I knew in my heart of hearts I would have something to come back at you with because I knew you were going to roast me for the Patriots loss, but I think this might be 10 times worse because you have Jimmy Garoppolo, you have Trey Lance, both of them scoring, both of them playing well, defense playing considerably well against Aaron Rodgers, and guess what happens? It doesn't matter.
Considerably well?
And it doesn't matter because Aaron Rodgers still will demolish you if you give him anywhere near enough time. Devontae Adams will demolish you if you give him anywhere near a couple of yards of separation. Aaron Rodgers just took you to church and baptized your entire football team.
You know what makes me mad is the fact that I really like Aaron Rodgers. I really like Aaron Rodgers, and they had to go up against my team. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna whoop their ass like easily. I bet my boy Brandon $100 that we will win. And I'm sitting up here on the edge of my seat. I'm talking about we're up by 1 point. 1 point. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the game, boy. This is the game. All we have to do is get a first down. Boom, we'll be good. What do? Trick the damn game off. We tricked the whole game off. I don't know how, because like I said, after I found out that we was leaving him 33 seconds on the clock, I cut the TV off. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'm a real 49ers fan, like die hard, but I had to cut the TV off because I don't know. I just felt like I was jinxing them by watching them or something. It was something that was going on in the air. I didn't get my beignets in the morning. I didn't have my orange juice in the refrigerator. So everything was just going bad. But you can't sit there and say that my defense isn't a top 5 defense. You can't say that. It's not. Oh my God.
It's not.
Whose defense is above the 49ers?
The LA Rams.
1.
Yeah, that's all I need.
No, that's not all you need. So then if they're 1, then we should be 2, damn it. We should be right there.
No, I'm just busting your balls. No, you have a very good defense, but guess what? It didn't matter. Because Aaron Rodgers is a bad man.
He's bad, but what's pissing me off about Aaron Rodgers is that he's not throwing the ball to Robert Tonyan. That's making me mad.
Oh shit! We talk about this too. Fantasy update. We have to do we're doing weekly fantasy updates now to keep you guys involved in this. Chris, how did your fantasy team do this week?
Fucking terrible. I lost again. Okay. I'm 0-3 right now.
Damn, man.
Because he won't throw the ball to Robert Tonyan. Like everybody else is doing their job besides Robert Tonyan. Throw him the ball. He had 12 touchdowns last year. 12.
Right. I know. So you're 0-3. I'm 2-1. So like I said, mentioned last episode, I'm gonna do one of my leagues. I'm in 3 leagues. I'll focus on the one I'm with my boys and it's cool. So I'm doing this one. Mike Vick's dogs. This is how I'm doing so far. I beat my buddy Alex. On Monday Night Football, 135 to 108. Josh Allen had a nice day, 5 total touchdowns for me, almost 40 points. Derrick Henry, 19 points. Naeem Hines, who is a scratch starter. He was not supposed to start with me, but I put him in there at last minute. 18.9 points. Justin Jefferson, 26 points. Terry McLaurin, 10 points. The one reason why it was almost a close game was Jonnu Smith because of how horribly he played. He only had a point. But then Keenan Allen saved the day with 19 at my flex. Man, I love this team.
Keenan Allen, boy.
I love this team.
We didn't talk about Justin Herbert's performance, which I thought was really good.
I think it goes without saying it was really good. And I think the Chiefs are getting real nervous right now, seeing how good the Chargers and the Raiders are playing right now. I think they're getting real nervous. They're getting real nervous.
Kansas City out here losing games, and then you got this dude, Justin Herbert, just picking up more and more confidence. It's looking bad.
Hey, if I told you before the season started that the Patriots and Chiefs had the same record going into October, you would have laughed at me.
I would have for sure laughed at you.
You would have laughed at me.
Laughed at you even more if you had said that the Vegas would be 3-0 right now.
Well, that's the real surprise of it. But again, I'll hit the fraud button for the second time. We need to limit the fraud button to like 1 or 2 per show. But I'm doing it again. Fraud button. The Las Vegas Raiders are frauds. They're not lasting. Like you can say all you want. Like they might sneak into the playoffs as a wild card depending on how the schedule goes. But they're not anything special. Nothing's gonna come.
Oh, you're saying that they're not gonna? You think that they're a fraud?
The Raiders, yep, fraud button.
So what do you say about Kansas City then?
Absolutely not frauds. They will be fine. It's September. They'll be just fine.
Okay.
They'll be just fine.
Vegas plays against the Chargers this week.
Right, and that's a very interesting game. I think we need to talk about it a little bit as well. But I want to lay up to the fantasy team because I'm so happy about my fantasy team. I really am. And Chris, I really hope yours doesn't turn around so I can just brag to your face that I'm winning and you're losing. I really hope that's what happens. So. All right. Game picks. Last week I went 13-3. Chris did not go 13-3. Chris ended up going, what did he go? Of course. Chris went 10-6. So, as of right now, I'm up 3 wins.
I'm trying to go for these lower teams who have the potential.
Chris, I don't want to hear any of this nonsense.
Washington?
Away? At Buffalo? Washington?
Tyler Heineke is playing amazing right now.
Taylor, not Tyler.
Whatever his damn name is.
God damn it. Should I do some respect?
He's a Heineken right now.
Heineken needs a Heineken. Right, he does. All right. Game picks. I'm up 3 wins in the season to start. Let's see if you can turn it around. It's a small margin. But But don't let it, like, I will take it and run if you let me. I will take it and run if you let me.
Yo, listen, man. That was a hope and a prayer last week.
All right.
It's a new week.
No, it's a new day. It's a new day.
Minnesota's not playing the Seahawks this week, so
yeah, it's a new day.
I can pick a real team now.
It's a new show. All right. Thursday Night Football kicking off at 8:20 p.m. is the Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm running Bengals. And I don't think it's going to be close either. Joe Burrow looks like the real deal, and even more so, Jamar Chase looks phenomenal so far. And right now, Urban Meyer has the Jaguars poised to be one of the worst teams in football. I truly believe he's one of the worst coaches in football right now. I'm riding with Cincy. I'm riding with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals as well. I feel like they have a very dynamic team right now. All they have to do is just stay healthy in that division, and they can go far, honestly. And so far that I think that they can actually own Ohio, to be honest with you, and beat out the Browns. But yeah, I'm going with Cincy.
The Chiefs and the Eagles. Kansas City's playing in Philadelphia. This, and I know I prefaced the whole show, started by saying Jalen Hurts did not look good, Eagles did not look good. Playing in Philadelphia is tough. Playing in Philadelphia is not an easy task. It's not an easy task. I'm going with Kansas City too. I'm going with the Chiefs too, but I want to just say in reference point, Philadelphia is not a very easy place to play. Not an easy place to play.
All right, you're right. But to this level, they have to play to a high level. Like, you could probably leap and get to an extra level and play phenomenal, but they're at a different level, and I think that, you know, with this loss that Kansas City just had, they're going to be ready to tear somebody's head off. We're going to see some, you know, Andy Reid is out of the hospital, and he's they're saying that he's doing great, which I continue hoping that you know, that keeps on increasing with his health. But he's just sitting in the bed, just coming up with plays. I'm sure he is for this week, and he's going to bring out all the big guns, because there's no way that the Eagles should even come close to the beating Kansas City with the game that they just had against Dallas.
Fair enough. Next game, 1:00 football. The Titans at the New York Jets. Titans,
easily.
Next game. That's like the quickest segment. Every time the Jets play, it's like the quickest segment ever. Oh, so funny. Anyway,
they gotta go.
They gotta go. Sunday football, 1:00. The Carolina Panthers at the Dallas Cowboys. This officially marks the first loss for the Carolina Panthers in my book. Dallas at home. The Panthers do no longer have J.C. Horn. He's out for pretty much the entire year. I'm going with Dallas Cowboys. If J.C. Horn's in this game, different story. He's not. I'm going with Dallas.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one. I could see it would be different if they had Christian McCaffrey out there, but they don't. He's still dealing with an injury. Like you said, J.C. Horn is out, which doesn't mean that makes their defense any worse, because their defense is great. It was just that J.C. Horn was just that much of a notch to help them be a top-tier defense. So this is going to be a hard one for me, because I still want to I want to say Carolina, but the fact that Dallas is going to be at home and Dak is playing the way that he's playing, I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Okay. The Giants at the Saints. The way the Saints are playing right now, I don't see them losing. They played a phenomenal game against New England in New England. The Giants haven't showed me anything that would indicate that they are on the same plane as the Saints right now. I'm going with LASIK Jameis, and I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints.
I'm going with New Orleans Saints as well. New Orleans, they have some a couple of injuries that I'm actually worried about, because I have a couple of their players on my fantasy. So I'll be watching out for that game as well. So I'm definitely going with the Saints.
Okay, the Browns at the Vikings. And this is probably the trickiest game to pick, I think, so far. Both run-heavy teams, both quarterbacks, I think, are a little bit similar in play style. I think with Baker being obviously more charismatic and obviously viewed a little bit differently than Kirk, but I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings here. Just purely on the fact that they're home. If Minnesota went to Cleveland, I think it would be a little bit different discussion. But I'm going to go with Minnesota. Yep.
What? You're going with Kirk Cousins. That's all that matters. I'm sticking with Kirk Cousins. You know, that's my guy right now. We're going Minnesota. Both me and Joe, we got it.
All right.
You trying to be safe. That's what you're trying to do. You don't want to pick some teams, you know, that might actually have a chance. You're just trying to keep your little 3 wins ahead of me. But don't worry, we have a long season.
Chris, if you're up 3 in the fourth quarter, what do? You run the ball. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm running the ball. That's what I'm doing. All right, we got the Lions at the Bears here, 1 o'clock. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions away in the Windy City. They should have beaten Baltimore last week, if not for the heroic accolades of Lamar Jackson and a phenomenal record-setting kick by Justin Tucker. Ended in a doink. That was hilarious. The fact that Detroit's plagued, I really do believe that. And having a record broken in your stadium with a doink to lose the game is the most Detroit Lions thing of all time. But I actually do have some faith in Detroit right now. Chicago's offense is in complete disarray. Absolutely. Matt Nagy has no idea what to do with Justin Fields right now. Doesn't even know he's going to start him next week if Andy Dalton's healthy. They're a mess right now. So I'm going to go with Detroit walking into the Windy City and kicking the Bears out of their own stadium.
Safe pick. I see where you're going. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Is that a safe pick though? I wouldn't say it's a safe pick.
It is a safe pick because
it's a safe pick.
Because I feel like, honestly, this is my honest opinion about Chicago. I feel like that game right there was atrocious by your standards. But I don't think that he doesn't have a game plan for Justin Fields. I just think that it was just a game that it was a hard game for him to explore his talents with the defense that he was going against. So I kind of want to go with Chicago. But I have to see it first. So I'm gonna go with Detroit and see what Chicago does. I'm hoping for Chicago to win.
Okay, fair enough. Houston at Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah. We're not talking about that game. Like it's gonna be Buffalo. You're going to Orchard Park. It's not worth a discussion.
I might actually need to pick up Buffalo's defense, to be honest.
Hey, no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills, baby. No one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. All right, Colts at Dolphins. And I saw on my DraftKings app, the Dolphins are actually favored.
Yeah.
Which really blows my mind a little bit, considering they have Jacoby Brissett in there, and I think the Colts are a better team overall.
Did they win last week?
The Dolphins?
Yeah.
No, they lost.
Did they?
Yeah, they lost to the Raiders.
I didn't watch. All right.
They lost to the Raiders. It was close though. Like it was like, and I will say I'm a fan of Brissett. He was in New England for a little bit. I was a fan of him, of us drafting him. The Wolfpack with him, Garoppolo, and Brady was a phenomenal QB room. I like that a lot. But I think the Colts are a better team. I think them walking into Miami makes a lot of sense. But it's gonna be a tough game. I'm gonna go with Indy here.
I'm going with Miami.
Okay.
I'm going with Miami because it's tough playing in Miami. The grass is always slick. You don't know what you know what I'm saying? You don't know your footing, especially if you go out there and you're not actually, testing the field. I don't know. It's just something weird about that Miami field that only Miami knows how to play on and nobody else does. So for that, I'm gonna go with Miami. Brissett, I got you back.
Okay. We got the last 1 o'clock game on the docket for this week. The Washington football team at the Atlanta Falcons. This week, I am riding with the Washington football team. I just have zero faith in the Falcons right now to do anything positive. Like, I really do. I just don't have any faith in them right now. And I think Taylor Heineke played a hell of a game, or played as well as he could have against that Buffalo defense. And I think playing the Falcons defense will be a much welcomed experience. So I'm going to go with Heineke. I'm going to go with the Washington football team.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington as well. Falcons, they won last week, but let's be real, it was against the Giants. I didn't see too much that actually surprised me about that game, so I'm going with Washington as well.
The Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. Good game. This is a good game. And it's going to be a good game. And my fingers are shaking here because I really don't know who to pick here. I've been thinking about it all day, and I still haven't made my mind up about it. I want to go with the better quarterback. I want to go with Russ.
Mm-hmm.
but I would feel disingenuous to not take the home team with the better defense. So, reluctantly, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, I love you guys, but this is the 49ers. This is the home of the 49ers, and I think that it's really going to come down to who's going to be able to run the ball better. And I think right now that San Francisco just has a better running core than Seattle. Did you see my boy Alex Collins go out there and he started the game for Seattle?
Alex Collins is like the weirdest player of all time. Like, he came in Baltimore, black visor, like dog mentality, had like almost 1,000-yard season, like played really well, then just dropped off the face of the earth.
Listen, Alex Collins is a solid man. Like
he's a big dude.
Solid dude. I like him a lot. We vibed well when we was in Baltimore and in Seattle.
I'm on the show.
A lot of people don't even know that he actually started off in Seattle and then went to Baltimore.
Right.
And then ended up going back to Seattle. So he's actually a really good outside the lines running back. You know, he can run in between the lines, but with his build, that's not, I just don't think that would be conducive, for his health. So he's a great outside the line running back.
Get him on the show. We need to get him on the show.
Gotta hit him up.
Hit him up. All right. 4:05. And this is a game I'm looking forward to as well. The Arizona Cardinals at the LA Rams. And I think this will be the moment a lot of people realize the fraud mentality that Arizona presents. I'm going with the LA Rams, and I don't think it will be close.
Yeah, I actually do think it's going to be close. I don't think this is going to be the game that Kyler Murray is going to be able to whiff on. I would think it feels like a lesser opponent, like Seattle or even my team, to be honest with you, because I honestly feel like the Rams are number one in our division right now. But teams like that, yes. Rams is number one. Their defense is amazing. Their offense is great. They're hitting on all cylinders. Everybody's healthy, with the exception of the running back. But they have so many running backs back. I mean, for the Rams, it doesn't even matter who's back there. They're just going to be able to run because they got to be able to stop those receivers that they got out there. All those receivers they have out there with speed, technique, and great catching ability from each one of those receivers out there. And you don't know who's going to get the ball. So I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game for the Cardinals, but I do think they're going to lose, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
That was a long-winded explanation as to why the Cardinals are just going to lose. That really was.
It's going to be good, though. And, you already know what I'm waiting on. I honestly don't really even care about this game because I'm a 49ers fan. What I'm ready to see, what should have been a Monday night football game, this game right here, Arizona versus the Rams, what I want to see is AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey go at it again. This is going to be their first time seeing each other since that fight.
I like that.
So I'm ready to see what happens.
Are we getting
It's going to be AJ. He's going to stay quiet. He's not going to say nothing, but Jalen's going to be out there and he's going to start woofing.
So are we going to get like a Cube to leave Michael Crabtree trilogy type thing? Is that what we're going to get?
Man, I would love to see it.
I would love to see that.
Because AJ is just, AJ has already been a quiet person and a mature person. So, and that was early on in his career. Now that he's later in his career, I think he's even more mature. So I think it's going to be even harder to get him to fight him. But they are going to be jawing at each other for sure. Like, you're going to see them getting in each other's faces in a couple blocks that lasts a little bit longer outside of the whistle. So it's going to be a good one to see.
For sure. Rematch of the 2010 Super Bowl. The Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4:25 on Sunday in Lambeau. I'm going to go with the Packers, and it's not going to be close either. Ben Roethlisberger is officially done.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
who do we see? Who do we see though? Who do you think we see if Roethlisberger gets benched? Who do you want to see out there?
I want to see Haskins.
Exactly. Because I was looking at the depth chart and I'm like, how is Kyle Rudolph still ahead of Haskins? Like that.
Mason Rudolph.
Oh, Mason Rudolph. Like it doesn't even make sense. But I would love to see Haskins go out there and ball, especially with the black visor. It reminds me of Michael Vick all over again.
You know what Mason Rudolph is. Like I'm not excited to see him at all. You don't know what Dwayne Haskins is yet. You really don't. He played half a rookie season. That's pretty much it. I would like to see what he can do in Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
All right, Sunday football, 4:25. The Ravens at the Broncos, and actually, I think it's gonna be a very, very competitive game.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. That's going to surprise a lot of people, but I think being at home for Denver is going to be a lot. I think being on the road for the second week in a row and going to that kind of that mile-high mentality in Denver is going to be a little bit challenging for the Ravens offense. I'm going to go with Denver.
And here goes when the tides start turning. I'm going with the Ravens. Okay. I feel like these guys, if you pay attention to anything about football and about how teams are playing against other teams, you'll know that this is literally not inferior, but a team with less potential to win in a game against a high-ranked team, as in the Ravens. And now I really want my brother, Frankie Jones, to listen and to watch me, because I know you watch these YouTubes. Broncos are going to lose. This is going to be their first time actually playing against a real team that has a good defense. No, a really good defense and a good offense. And also a great special teams in Justin Tucker. So this is going to be a team. I mean, this is going to be a game where it's going to show us where Denver ranks in the hierarchy of games right now, because Denver is 3-0 right now, aren't they? They have to be. I think they are.
I think so. Yeah, I think
they're 3-0 right now, but they haven't played against anybody. So, and I want my brother. He's praising them, talking about they're the best defense. They have the best defense in the world. I mean, in the NFL right now, the offense is being amazing. And I'm like, bro, you haven't played against anybody. I'm not going to take anything away from them, because a win is a win, and it's hard to get a win in the NFL. So, rightfully so, they have that much respect from me that they got those 3 wins. But now you're going up against some real dogs, like some Michael Vick dogs, like Joe Stafford's team is. You know, they're going to come in there and they're literally going to embarrass them. I honestly believe that they're going to go out there and embarrass them. But Tim Patrick's probably going to have 2 touchdowns, because it's going against his team.
Fair enough. And Chris, I'm asking you as a brother and as a friend, be nice, be quick, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Sunday Night Football, 8:20, Buccaneers at Patriots. I'm going with Tampa Buccaneers.
Yeah, Joe, I'm going with Tampa Bay too, man. I'm with you. As a brother, I love you. I'm with you. I'm going, whatever you want to pick on that game, I'm picking with you. If you want to go with Patriots, I'll go with Patriots with you. If you want to stick with the Bucs, I'm going to go with the Bucs. But just know, Tom Brady's going to see that grass. I just want you to understand that. He's going to see that grass.
Monday Night Football, Raiders-Chargers. Chargers at home, but it's never really a home game for them. I guarantee you the Black Hole's going to show up at that game.
Absolutely.
I'm making some bold picks this week because I want to give you some leeway. I'm going with the LA Chargers to snap the Raiders' undefeated streak. Justin Herbert throws for 4 touchdowns.
That actually sounds good, and this is not even an easy pick for me, to be honest with you, because I actually think that the Raiders actually have a chance. Like you said, that their fans are going to travel, and being that a lot of their fans are in California, and that it is in Carson, California, there's going to be a huge black hole in that stadium, and they're going to get all the help that they need. But also, I think that Darren Waller is head over heels, one of the top running backs. I mean, one of the top tight ends in the game, and I don't think that Derwin James is going to be able to stop him or anybody else on that team for that matter. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Fair enough. And that's our picks for week 4 of the NFL season, or week 3, week 4, week 4, week 3, week 4, week 4. Also, breaking news before we close the show out, and this literally dropped at like 10 minutes ago. Jamie Collins has been officially cut from the Detroit Lions after the Lions failed to find a trade partner, and I will put $1 million on the fact he's coming back to the Patriots. I will guarantee you. He did it once before. He's going to do it again and reunite with Kyle Van Noy in New England. Jamie Collins will be a New England Patriot by week's end. Point blank, period. End of show. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe on all of our platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, social media based at Stafford and Matthews on Instagram and on TikTok. Keep in mind, our website is dropping. I believe today we're recording on Tuesday. It should be ready by Wednesday. When this show drops, I will update you on social media, so check that out to make sure you're going to the right site, as well as our merch shop with a ton of new designs that you guys have not seen yet. Chris has seen them. They look fire, designed by yours truly, as well as some of the designs we showed you when we modeled them off at the studio in Reading when Chris was here for that studio show. So keep that in mind. Support the cause, support the brand, so we can keep continuing to do this for you guys. And that's all I got. Chris, what do you got?
I'm good, man. Everything is great, man. I pray that everybody stays safe out here, and keep on leveling up, man.
For sure. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Take care, and we'll see you next time.